All right. Let's go ahead and clap it up. All right. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana, Precinct Officer 5000 Kasar Pakat. This is the Thursday night scripture breakdown class, for ISUPK Northern California, ISUPK Sacramento, ISUPK Bay Area, whatever you want to call it, man. We holding it down. We are in Richmond, California, 2213 Richmond, California, McDonald Avenue, 2213 McDonald Avenue, right here. Pull up. We got classes Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday nights, 7 to 9. Classes on Saturday, on the Sabbath. Come hold the Sabbath down. You know what I mean? 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock every Saturday. All right. Let's go ahead. See if there's any questions with anybody online. If you got any questions, go ahead. Type them in the chat. Go ahead, put that in there. All right. If not, let's see. Type your questions in the chat. Give everybody out there one more second. If not, we're going to go ahead. Get things rocking and rolling. All right. First precept we're going to go to is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Matter of fact, we're going to start. We're going to start at verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. And it reads, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. This is what Moses is talking and telling the children of Israel. He's taught you statutes and commandments that the Lord gave to him, and that we should follow these laws, statutes, and commandments in the land that we're going to possess it. And that's interesting too, right there, just in itself, that we were given this land, the Holy Land, as people like to call it, the Promised Land, as others like to call it, from the Bible. We were never supposed to leave that land. These laws were given to us when we were going to go in here and possess this land and own this land. But we had to be stripped from our heritage and our inheritance because of the things that we were doing, right? Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Like, this separates us from all these other nations of people. Our law, statutes, commandments And in so many ways, it's so beautiful when you say it. It's so poetic that when you say it separates us from the other nations, because that is a double, damn near a triple entendre, as they like to say in the rap world. Why am I saying that? We are separated from the nations, from the laws, because we become superior to these other nations, following the laws because we're wise and understanding people. We're also literally separate from the other nations because we don't do things like the other nations, right? And that's what I think that was one of the verses in Maccabees where it says something like that. Let me see if I got that. Um, let me see if it comes up. 1 second. Maccabees. Uh-huh. Nope. I can't find it. I could find. Let's see. We got one. I'm thinking of something different. It's a lot, right? But it talks about these other nations when they come up against the children of Israel, how we're not like other nations. Oh, we don't know. That wasn't Maccabees. That's Esther. Right. That's what I'm looking for. We just went over that in the future Purim. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Real quick. It's lucky. All right. Esther 13 and 4. Let's go. We're going to drop this real quick. Come back to Deuteronomy 4 and 6 real quick. We are separated from all these other nations, not only in the fact that we're greater and better than these other nations, but also for the simple fact that our culture in itself separates us by the simplistic things that we do, the foods that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the way we set up our families. Uh-huh. Let's see. Is that the additions? Yeah, so additions of Esther and Apocrypha. All right. Hold that down. So we're going to go to the additions of Esther and the Apocrypha. We'll find that. We're going to find that in Additions of Esther chapter 13 and verse 4. All right. Let's get it. The Additions of Esther chapter 13 and verse 4. Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. This Bible and the children of Israel following the law, statutes, and commandments prevents the other nations from totally dominating the entire planet Earth, from totally uniting, because all the other nations have no problems with you worshiping whatever God you want to, because they worship Satan, because they don't believe in the Most High God. They don't have any set laws that are moral, right? Even when they do something that appears to be moral, it's not because of a moral situation. Why am I saying that? Think about it. America has laws that are against selling drugs, right? America has laws that are against using drugs, correct? But when you look closer, who are they really made for? who is really under the law of America's drug policy? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They had the law that it was 5 times the amount. I believe it was it 500 times. There was a big difference. Look at that. I keep looking up things. It's lucky for taking up time. You know what I mean? But there's just certain things, man. See what it was. Oh, there it goes. In response, the Anti Drug Abuse Act of 1986 included a provision that created the disparity between federal penalties for crack cocaine and powder cocaine offenses, imposing the same penalties for the possession of an amount of crack cocaine as for 100 times the same amount of powder cocaine. So 100 times you get caught with 1 gram of crack, you're going to do the same amount of time as someone who gets caught with 100 grams of coke. You see someone that gets caught with 1 kilo of crack, it's going to be like they had 100 kilos of cocaine on them. Why is that? That's because niggas in Spicks were selling crack. Who had powder cocaine? The oppressor did. So these laws are not really made because they morally disagree with crack cocaine. These laws are made because they want to oppress blacks and Hispanic people. The laws around murder and death and killing. If they really morally hated murder, they would charge the police the same as they do yourself. Your black behind. So I want to, you know, say something. That's how they would charge your Latino behind. It would be the same way they treat you is the same way they would treat the police, because they know a murder is a murder, a life is a life. This is morally wrong for you to do this. When your oppressor gets high off of fentanyl, gets high off of opioids, they're not locking them up. They're saying this is a disease. This is an epidemic. This is the opioid epidemic. Same way they talk about they talk about COVID-19. They say that being a drug addict is an epidemic. Like it's contagious. They can't help it. It's spreading. It wasn't an epidemic when my auntie was smoking crack, was it? Was it an epidemic when my uncle was selling crack? They called it the crack epidemic. They had a whole different connotation. They wasn't saying like opioid. Nah. They saying this is all around, mental health. This is all around, getting rehabilitation and getting people into programs. They're not trying to. Our rehabilitation was Lompoc. Our rehabilitation was Folsom. Whether you were a drug addict or a drug dealer, they sent you to the penitentiary. But now, since your oppressor is the one doing it, since the oppressor is the one getting high off of meth, then it becomes some type of leniency. So our laws were never something that was supposed to be a form of a way to oppress people, the way the so-called white man does it, right? Or the oppressor does it. So our strange laws prevented us from uniting with these other nations, and they needed the unification of all these nations to have the ultimate power, to build the ultimate empire, right? So I'm gonna read that one more time. The book of Esther, the edition of Esther, chapter 13, verse 4, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people. So that also lets you know that we were scattered already at this point in time. We were all over the planet Earth. Israelites, we get around. I used to make a joke, like if you just watch certain movies or certain TV shows or just reality, might be reality TV. It don't matter where you go. They could be in Europe, they could be in Japan, they could be in Saudi Arabia. You gonna see a nigga in the background somewhere walking around, moving around. I guarantee you start noticing that It's it could be nothing but Edomites, nothing but Ishmaelites, nothing but Moabites. It's gonna be a nigga back there somewhere. You look in the crowd, you're like, damn, what's bro Hef doing out here? What's bro doing out here, man? He's doing it moving. That's how we always been. We always went other places, and we got scattered as well in the different captivities we were in, right? And it says that it's interesting they call us a malicious people. Like our righteousness is evil to them. This is why America hates us today. Like we go out and teach the truth on the streets. Our righteousness is like evil to them. It's like the light that you shine on a vampire. You think about how the vampire hates the light, it burns. You don't want to see the sun. It don't want to see the light. It doesn't want to see the truth. They want to live in darkness because that's where they thrive. They thrive in the lies. Their power is in the lies. That's why it says he was a liar from the beginning. When he speaketh of a lie, he speaketh of his own, because that was his gift. The Bible also says, in Psalm 58:3, the wicked go estranged from the womb, speaking lies. This is what they do. This is where their power comes from. The forked tongue. How did the Native Americans say it? They said the white man speak with forked tongue. He got a double. He says one thing, he does something else, right? But we are malicious to them that had laws contrary to all nations and continually despise the commandments of kings. So even when you go back, they talk about, in ancient Babylon, they came up with the Hammurabi Code, and this was something that they had laws to say, you shouldn't murder, you shouldn't do this and do that. They weren't doing these laws because it was a moral thing for them. It's no different than America. They don't want you to murder other people because they're against murdering. They don't want you to murder other people because they want to make money in this place. It's good for business. It's like the mafia. The mafia has rules and laws too. But the laws they create are to do more crime, right? You can understand it in that way. The mafia makes rules and regulations. Oh, you can't go and rob this liquor store because it's under our protection. It's not because they morally think it's wrong to rob the liquor store, because they're robbing the liquor store. They told them, if you don't pay us every month, then we're going to come and destroy your liquor store. So they're robbing the liquor store in a nice way, and then they're protecting them from themselves. And so therefore, they don't let anyone else rob this liquor store. So on the surface value, it seems like a nice moral thing, but really it's embedded in greed. It's embedded in a lust to do more evil, and just in an organized way. That's why they're called organized crime. This is where the culture of the Romans and the Greeks, they figured a way to organize their crime in the ancient days. And so the laws that we had were interfering with their organized crime, because we weren't trying to unite with them, because our God said that was against our culture. Right? It said, and continually despise the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. Right? Seeing then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established. Like they can't firmly stand 10 toes down, because you have this one group of people that always rising up and always fighting. And if they want to always revolt, that's not good for business. It's out of mind. It's not good for business. It's not good for the Romans, man. It's not good for the Greeks. If you're always having this ruffle up, you always want to have a dispute. We need to shut down that opposition. We're supposed to have no one oppose us, because we're supposed to be the most powerful, almighty group or nation on earth, right? Let's see. Therefore have we commanded that they that are signified in writing unto you by Haman, who is ordained over the affairs, is next unto us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year. They wanted to wipe us out completely, right? This has been going on since, you know, the beginning of time, as people like to say. They've always been trying to destroy and wipe us out. We keep going because the Lord was with the children of Israel, right? He said there'll always be a remnant. He'll never destroy the children of Israel as long as the earth is here. That's how we are, right? And so now we know that the Lord has a chosen people, and we know the Lord has always dealt with prophets with teaching the people. And so why are we saying that the Isupk is in the Bible? Because the law is in the Bible, and the law, whoever shall do so and teach them, is what Christ said. They will be, what does he say? In Matthew 5:17, he say, whoever do so and shall teach them shall be first in the kingdom. Matthew 5:17. We'll go to verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And so, the Isupk, we actually teach the laws of God. These other fake Israelites, they do not teach the laws of God. These Christian churches, they do not teach the laws of God. The Muslim mosque does not teach the laws of God. So that's the first sign, is you have to teach the laws of God. Well, what are they going to say? Oh, well, our fake Israelites, we keep fringes on our shirt. We don't eat pork. We keep the Sabbath. We keep the laws of God too. No, you don't. Y'all neglected the first and the second most important laws of the Bible, of the Lord, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your might, all your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. The fake Israelites hate black people. You hear how they talk. They always talking about the 2/3. They're always calling black women nigger bees and this and that and the third. It's really, they hate black people. When you really start listening to them, I don't even listen to that much, but I mean, if you ever take 2 minutes to understand or hear what the hell they're talking about, fake Israelites really hate black people. They got the truth, or in their mind, they got the truth and learned about being an Israelite, and they use that knowledge to turn around and hate black people. They don't really put themselves in our people's shoes, and they don't identify with our people anymore, right? Let's go to Exodus chapter 19 and verse 5. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. That's what they were talking about in Esther. We are peculiar people. We different. You know what I mean? It's just the simple things. Everything that is so basic to everyone else is an abomination to us. What is basic to the average person? Plain simple. Eating pork. It's very basic to you. Eating shrimp, eating crab, eating lobster. It's very basic to people in the world. You can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, you scroll down, you already know who is in the truth or who is an Israelite just by the people's posts of the food that they eat. You see somebody post some lobster, you already know. You posted lobster. That person does not follow the Bible. That person does not believe in the Lord. This person got pork ribs over here. He got pork in his greens and his all this and that. Y'all probably liable to be putting bacon on candy yams pretty soon. I'm surprised. Man, I know it's been done. You Negroes love pork so much, huh? You Hispanics love pork so much, y'all put it on desserts. And it's not your culture. You learning this from your oppressor. Like, is there any other meat that people put on desserts and food other than bacon? Is bacon that good, or is your that demon on you that I knew it? I knew it. That demon on you that just loves the swine Has to put it on everything. And yep, and looked it up right now. Misha's Corner. Somebody come look at this Moscato bacon candied yam recipe. They didn't put bacon in the candy yams, man. Where is that coming from? That's the oppressor. He puts bacon on everything, right? But our laws are supposed to make us a peculiar people. So when everyone else, they love bacon, bacon cheeseburger, bacon on the donuts, bacon on the candy yam, bacon on this, bacon on that. You don't eat bacon. You don't eat pork. Kind of weird. You don't eat shrimp. Shrimp is a delicacy. Like you get your check, you get your money, you going to eat shrimp. What Pimp C say? I'm eating so much shrimp, I got iodine poisoning. Pimp C said he eating so much shrimp, he got iodine poison, man. It was a thing to brag about, something to boast about, something to a delicacy, something to separate poor people from rich people, right? When in reality, these laws were really used to separate us and make these other nations poor and make us rich. That's the cold part about it. Like you follow your oppressor, he tells you shrimp is good, shrimp is valuable. You follow him and you believe his culture is right and superior. You get away from your culture, you want to get away from the hood, you want to get away from the barrio, you want to go buy more shrimp. So you do whatever he tells you need to do in order to get the shrimp, whether it's sell dope, whether it's become a rapper, whether it's to play basketball, play football. You do whatever he tells you to do to get his shrimp, to get his money, to become powerful. When in reality, if you rejected his shrimp, if you rejected his bacon, if you rejected his lobster, you rejected his Christmas, you rejected his Easter, you rejected his Halloween, if you made yourself a peculiar people and separated yourself from them culturally, then you would have money. You wouldn't even care about no shrimp. You wouldn't want to show your wealth by buying shrimp because you don't eat shrimp and you have wealth. That's crazy how they reverse. They use reverse psychology. You think it's a coincidence every food that's unlawful is a delicacy in America? You go to Louisiana, in Louisiana, the whole culture is surrounded about, it's supposed to be one of the best, it's the best food destinations, chefs in the country in Louisiana. And everything they eat there is unlawful. The crawfish, the catfish, the shrimp, the pork, all of it. It's what they're known for. Shrimp, crab, crawfish, and pork. And eating squirrels, eating possums, eating raccoons, all that going down in Louisiana. They made a whole culture surrounding eating abominations because your oppressor knows, hey, we can make this a part of their culture. They'll never want to come into the truth. So shout out to them brothers in Louisiana, you know what I mean, that are in the truth, because when I was living out there, man, good night, I thought I was going to have to fly to New York to meet the priests and prophets of the Lord. I thought I was going to have to fly to New York City to meet the Isupk, man, because it didn't seem like anybody was going to be able to set up a school in Louisiana, because the people's mind there is so embedded in their culture to live unlawful that when you hear that this Bible is saying you can no longer do these things, it's almost like you have to, it's almost like dying. And that's why we say you have to kill that old man. Like you are losing family, all these big Mardi Gras, all this big Christmas. This is very big in Louisiana culture, man. Catfish festivals. They got a whole festival dedicated to frying catfish. They got a whole festival dealing with crawfish. They got a festival dealing with every unlawful thing, man. Right? But Let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go to Nehemiah 8 and 4. This is how you know, though, man. We are peculiar people to this day. The UPK, they look at us like we're very weird, like we're very different. Like we don't do things that everyone else does. And that's right. And that's how it's supposed to be. We are supposed to separate ourselves. We are supposed to divide ourselves from these other nations. All right. What did Captain Cesario say the other day? What precept he said? If you love the world, the love of the Lord is not in you. So like I'm really butchering that one, man. Let me just get that. Love not the world. Was that First John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, man. You can't love the world. You can't want to conform to the world. You have to separate yourself from the world. That's how you show that you love the Most High. People are supposed to be like something's wrong with you. That's how they treated Christ. That's how they treated the men that were with him. Like something was wrong with them. Like they were different. Like they were weird, man. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Baruch Thumb. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Baruch Thud. To the trooper I wore Palad, man. Get that brother in here, man. Solid brother out here in the UPK, man. Coming up strong, man. Lord Allah, I get to see this brother pretty soon. If not, Lord in Christ, I will see this brother at the Passover. You understand? The 55th annual Passover going down in Durham, North Carolina. You got to be there or just be there. We even going to say the other way people in the world say, just be there. You understand? Make it. Get there. That's what you got to do. You understand? That's my brother right there, man. Let's go on to the next precept. Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 4. How do you know the Isupk is in the Bible? All right. Matter of fact, let me ask you this question right here, fake Israelite. Let me ask you this question right here, Mr. Christian. Let me ask you this question right here, Mr. Muslim. Let's go to Revelations 18 and 4. I'm going to start at verse 2. The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right. Let's ask you, fake Israelites, who is this right here? Who is this talking about? Right? Because this is supposed to be a future prophecy when John the Revelator wrote this on the island of Patmos. He wrote this. He wasn't talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon had already fallen. Ancient Babylon was no longer the mighty empire that it once was when John wrote about this. So who is it talking about? Every last one of them is going to say that Babylon the Great fits the description of America. You say, hold on. So you over here asking me, is the ISUPK in the Bible? You don't see the ISUPK in the Bible. Okay, well, where do you see America at? Do you see those words typed in the Bible? Do you see a United States of America typed in the Bible? But everyone knows that Babylon the Great is talking about America. How? How do you know that? Because of the description of this place, man. All the nations have drunk the wine of her wrath. Have all the nations drunk the wine of the wrath of Ethiopia, of the fornication? Have they all come together and fornicated with Bangladesh? Have all the nations got rich and the merchants of the earth got rich with Pakistan or Yemen? No, they haven't. Even the top Western nations, none of them have exhibited what America has done. Everyone knows that this is the number one country. That's what everyone says. It's the wealthiest country on planet Earth. It's the land of freedom and opportunity, from sea to shining sea. It's the home of the brave. This is the place. Wall Street. All the merchants of the earth. Well, that's Wall Street. That's where they get rich at, on Wall Street, man. All the markets of the earth go through America, go through New York City, go through this land here, because this land here is Babylon, is modern day Babylon, right? So you can find out who Babylon is and who America is in the Bible by reading the scriptures, by understanding this is who this is today. You can go out and find out who the Edomites are by reading the Bible and seeing who these people are today. You can find out who the Ishmaelites are by reading the Bible and seeing who they are today. It talks about them being a wild man, the children of Ishmael, that they rode on camels. They ride in the desert on camels, man. Is that a coincidence that it describes the Midianites and the Ishmaelites as people that ride on camels? You think I'm making this up? You can look it up in the Bible, man. We know who the children of Ishmael are. We know who the children of Edom are today, because they still act and do the same things. You know what I mean? But let's see. I don't even got to show you that, but you can look that up. Y'all can look that up, man. The Midianites, they rolled when they came through, and then they kidnapped Jacob. No, not Jacob. What's the brother's name? John. What was I'm talking about? Joseph, right? And he was sold by his brothers in Genesis. And they said that the Midian, here it goes, Judges. All right, he goes to a different precept, right? But Judges chapter 8, verse 26. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian. And besides the chains, there were about their camels' necks. Like the Midianites were the other children. They were basically like brothers to Ishmael. They were brothers and cousins to the Ishmaelites, right? We ain't going into that, but you know, these desert rolling people, Roman people, always dealing with slaves. Like, that's a notorious Arabic, Middle Eastern culture, is slavery, selling slaves. Like, everyone has their own market. Some people, they make the boats. Some people, they, just like today, Arabs all own gas stations. They got the plug on the gas station. Why? Because they come from the place that has all the oil. The Moabites, the Chinese, they have the plug on the hair. So they have all the beauty shops and all the nail salons. They work in this specific market. Just like with Dunkin' Donuts, 70-80% of them are owned by East Indians because they lock down that market. Well, back in these days, the Middle Easterns, the Arabs, the Midianites, their market was selling slaves. And that's why you had the trans-Saharan slave trade, where the Arabs were moving brothers all over the world, you understand, selling our people because they had mastered selling slaves. And that's what they showed, what they did to Joseph, man. All right, let's keep going on. So if you can find out who the people are that is America today, based on reading Bible verses and how they describe certain things, then that means you can find the Isupk in the Bible, and because of certain verses and how they explain the people and the priests and prophets of the Lord, right? So let's go to Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 4. Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 4. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they made for the purpose. And beside him stood Mattathiah and Shema, and Ananiah and Uriah, and Hilkiah and Maaseh. On his right and on his left hand, Pedaiah and Mishael and Malchiah and Hashum and Hashbadana, Zechariah and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. This is why in UPK we have camp on a pulpit of wood. We stand up and we open up the Bible and we teach the people, because this is what we learn how Ezra and Nehemiah went out and taught the people, right? And Zechariah, how these men went out and taught the people in the Bible. Who else is doing that? It's a simple question. Somebody type in the chat. Who else is doing that? Don't worry, I'll wait. I don't know. It ain't purple, the purple pansies. It ain't them. It ain't the fake Israelites wearing skirts and fringes on their skirts. It ain't them. Nobody else does this but the UPK, because we keep the traditions and the culture of the Bible, because the Spirit of the Lord was on the men that taught the truth to the brothers in the UPK, man. All right. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 10. There's another thing right here, man. So these brothers rolled together. If y'all not aware of that, you can go through all the names right here. But if you ever go to Nehemiah chapter 10 and verse 1 and just read down, you'll start to see that these prophets rolled together. They were in the same school, the school of the prophets, the sons of the prophets, man. This is where they learned, this is where they dwelt, and this is where they rock and roll together. And you see it throughout the Bible that these people writing these books in the Bible, they rolled together. It wasn't thousands of years apart, hundreds of years apart. That's not how the Bible was written. These men were working and rocking at the same time. So you got Nehemiah. I'm just gonna give you some of the heavy hitters. Nehemiah. You go on to chapters, verse 6. Daniel, Baruch. You understand? Who else? You got So you got Nehemiah, verse 5. I'm skipping down a little bit. In verse 5, you see Obadiah. You see, once again, Micah, right? Daniel. All these different men, man. Daniel, Obadiah, Micah, Nehemiah, and Ezra. That's just a few of these brothers that were all working, living, and moving around at the same time, right? All right, let's drop that. Let's go to 1 John 3 and 18. Let's see, we're not going to go too long. We'll run through these last precepts. See if I can cut this class a little bit short like last night, about an hour or so. Oh, yeah, 43 minutes, about 15 minutes. Keep going. 1 John 3 and 18. And it reads, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." That's how we got to do it. The Most High doesn't care what you say. He cares what you do. You can say all these things every day in the Christian church, but what you really do is you live like everything that the Lord says he hates. You can say that a man should be with a wife and a wife should be with a man, but all these Christian pastors is going behind closed doors and dealing with other men, dealing with children, dealing with other men's wives. They're not doing what the Bible says. They commit adultery, every abomination under the sun. So this talking about it is not important to the Lord, right? You're not supposed to love in word, but in deed. Isupk with a home of the truth. And this is not saying if you read the Bible or know a few breakdowns, that makes you in the truth, man. It's a lifestyle. You have to change and live a lifestyle that represents what the Most High wants, and you only see that in the UPK, man. Can a football? Can you play football without a field? You understand? No, you can't do that. Can you play basketball without a hoop? No, you can't do that. Well, you can't be in the truth without family, without a body. You need a body of brothers in order to be in the truth. You just can't go home and read the Bible and say you're in the truth. The truth is where you do something. And Christ was out helping the people all day, every day. He said he was the truth, the way, and the light, right? All right, let's drop that. Let's go to Revelations 12 and 16. Is that what I want? Nah, matter of fact, let's go down to Daniel 12 and 4 first before we go to Revelations. Daniel 12 and 4. The book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Like they told Daniel to not show the book or the true meaning of what this Bible meant. It's been shut up from our understanding, from our people, to really break down the Bible. How it's supposed to be broken down since not too long after the days of Christ. Not too long after that, people have been lost and have not been truly teaching the book. But it says in the last days, in the later days, then this thing will be opened up. It will be explained. It'll be understood. And the end time, knowledge shall be increased, right? Then this knowledge will be brought to us. Well, guess what? We, the Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, right? This knowledge will be increased because that's what we teach. We teach people how to be wise and understanding people. And the foundation of our wisdom is the laws. All right. We're going to drop that. So we got that in Daniel. Let's go to Revelations 12 and 16. We start to see how we got this information. Because the brothers that really put in the groundwork to build the Isupk since 1969, their foundation, they could have just said, you know what, we Israelites, we're black people, and just left it at that. They really went down and brought out the information to prove the things they were saying. Like, you can grow up in your life and you can watch every comedian and y'all can make jokes and say, you know what, Jesus was black. I knew he was a nigga because when he fed 5,000, he had a big old fish fry. He was making fish sandwiches. He gave them bread and fish. Sound like fish sandwich to me. Ha, ha, ha. You know, Jesus was black. You just saying that because it's a joke. It sounds funny, but you really don't believe it, don't know it, don't understand if Christ is really a black man. It just feels good to say it. You like to have a black Jesus on your wall, but in reality, he is half naked, effeminate Jesus with dreads. That's not really how it's shot, man. But you're trying. You want to be separated from the oppressor, but in reality, you don't know how because no one has taught you the truth, right? So, what's that right there? Let's go to Revelations 12 and 16. And it reads, and the earth helped the woman. And the earth, let's go up a little bit, right? Revelation chapter 12, verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. The woman is the children of Israel. The man child is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half time from the face of the serpent. Right? And this is, talking about Babylon, talking about America. And this is the way they have come in and persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child, the children of Israel. All right. Verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. That's what they're doing. This things that are coming out of his mouth are lies. The serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood, or lies as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. He's saying, if all these lies, they can carry you away. They can destroy the children of Israel. You tell everyone, Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, that Yahushua was an Edomite, then you've already won the battle. If you tell everyone to ignore the law, statutes, and commandments, and they do so, then you've already won the battle by teaching lies to the children of Israel. But it says in verse 17, or what does it say? Verse 16, no. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So if the water that's coming out of the mouth is lies, and if the earth helped the woman, that means the earth is presenting the truth. And you're seeing it to this day. Right now, they're coming out with the Russian icons in Russia, showing you that the pictures they had of Jesus, of Mary, of the disciples were all Black people. And it's just revealing that this isn't something that was common knowledge, right? But it's something that we've been teaching in UPK forever, since 1969, because we went in those records, and the records that were kept were brought to the school, and it helped us develop the UPK, man. And that's what the Bible says, that the lies would be taken away because of the truth in the earth. All right, so let's drop that. Let's go to Psalms 40 and 6. Psalm chapter 40, verse 6. And it reads, no, I don't want that one. 6 to 8. IGBK is in the Bible. Psalm chapter 40 and verse 6. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yea, thy law is within my heart. Right. The volume of the book. IGBK is in the volume of the book, because the law is in our hearts. It's something that we do not by a force or being a fear or punishment from man, but because we truly fear the Lord. And this is how this place was developed. Let's go to Daniel. We did that one. 1 Kings 19 and 18. First Kings chapter 19, verse 18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him. Right? He always left a remnant. He always left a certain pocket of men that were reserved by the Lord. These men have always been together. They're not scattered. Just like we said, the schools of the prophet or the children of the prophets, the sons of the prophets, as they say, they all roll together. That's why it says that Obadiah hid them into 50s over here, 50 over there when they're on the run from Jezebel and all that. It's because these prophets and these sons of the prophets rolled together, man. They were one body. They didn't have different camps and organizations set up, different denominations and schisms. They were one body because that's how the Lord is. If the Lord is one, our God is one. What is our credo? Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Shema Yasharala Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Akkad. How is the Lord going to be one and you divided? And you saying you follow the Lord? In the class on that one, man. Y'all get back to me when y'all get some cuts for that. How y'all going to say y'all in the truth and y'all are with the Lord and there's only one God, but y'all are divided, man? It makes no sense, right? First Kings chapter, 19, verse 18. We do. Go to the next one. Ezekiel 11 and 16. Therefore say, thus saith the Yahweh, the Most High, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. This is that little sanctuary. This is that place where people can come and get their rest. They say, this place is not your rest. This hell that we living in America, this captivity. Well, this is your rest, man. Come into the truth. You know what I mean? You ain't going to do no hard work. Don't mean you ain't gonna have to put your brick in, but what we are saying is that you're gonna be resting from worrying about the police now. You'll be resting from worrying about catching an STD, from dealing with all type of random women. You're gonna be resting from dealing with overdosing on drugs or worrying about going to this place and that place, prison, and getting stabbed and shot all the time, because the Lord is going to do it one more time. Ezekiel 11 and 16. Therefore, thus said Yahweh the Most High, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Right? So that's that. I could go a little bit more into it, but long story short, just explaining this out, man. There's so many countless other things that you could point to that we do in the truth that represents that we are the ones that are carrying the banner, and it's the simple things, man. These cats that are in the world that call themselves fake Israelites or whatever they want to be, they focus on these. I can't even say this, but they focus on the small things and they think that's what's going to make them righteous. And they miss these big things. We focus on the big things here in UPK. And when we, may not hold on to these small things that you're thinking, they say that's the reason why we're unrighteous. It's because you're really a Christian. That's all it is. The fake Israelites are just Christians. And so they see you, they think this is a big thing, saying a man can have more than one wife. But really, that's a small thing. That's in the Bible, but then what we think is a big thing, it's a small thing to them. We think that eating pork is a big thing. They take it like it's nothing. Sorry, you can do that, right? But yeah. Ezekiel 11 and 16. And so here we go too. Therefore, Say, thus saith the Lord, the Most High, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. Like, they keep talking about, you know, these people that live in Israel, they are the chosen people, but they scattered all over. They were just coming straight out of Europe, and that's it. They weren't scattered like black people were, not all over the place, not in all nations. We have been everywhere. And this is how you know this is who we are. All right. So, not gonna hold it too much more. Go ahead, salute the class, salute the brothers and sisters out there. Yahweh Shem Yahshai, like a thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shem Allah, thumb Shem Yahshai, to all the sisters. With that, class is dismissed. All right.